Today I'm going to... What the fuck is wrong with me? I've even got notes. What is actually wrong with me? Everyone, and welcome back to Luna's Life, Safaa story. Today I've had quite a productive day, as you guys can see. I actually got myself up and was able to do some things today, which I'm really proud of. However, I've been dreading making this video the whole day, but I do need to make this video just because when I was going through this process I found it really difficult, and I wish that I had a video to watch kind of explaining and just kind of making me feel that I wasn't so alone. So yeah, I'm going to be explaining today how to plan your baby's funeral or your loved one's funeral, but I will be speaking regarding like infants and babies, just because that's my experience. And I just want to start off this video by saying that if you're watching this and you are going through this, I don't want to get upset. You got this. You really do have this. It's difficult, it's confusing, but you know what's best for your baby. You want to give them the best send-off. They deserve that, and I hope that some of these pointers in this video can help you make some of those tough decisions, because something that I was very aware of is that you only get to do this once. So yeah, hot water bottle, my anxiety is going through the roof, so bear with me. So I do have my hot water bottle, and I did put on my comfy dressing gown. So yeah, let's get into the video. So the first thing that I want to get into is picking a funeral home. I was lucky enough, but unfortunate enough, to have had a friend that used a funeral home, so I used the same one as her, because her ceremony for her loved one was beautiful. So yeah, I used the same one to her, but it is a local one to my area, and it sounds very stupid and something that you don't want to do, but do look on reviews on Google and like Yelp and stuff. Just about like customer service and quality of care. These people are going to be looking after your baby, leading up until you bury them, cremate them, until their funeral day. So most funeral homes will offer their services free of charge for children who have not reached the age of 18, but this does vary. So my funeral home offered me a number of free services because Bubs was so small. This does work for under 18s because they're still counted as children, but it depends on which funeral home. But my funeral home did make it very clear that there were certain things that would be free of charge, unless I wanted to add on a bit extra and pay for something like totally different, but I'll get into that later. So some of the free services that was included was professional services. So that's a celibate or a minister, depending on if you're religious or just spiritual. There's all different types of options. So do speak with your funeral home, and they can definitely point you in the right direction. Then went through choice of music for the service. So we had a song in the beginning, a song in the middle, and then a song at the end. Order of service book, I actually got to create the book, so I got to have some poems in, some beautiful pictures of her, and I got to request how many copies, and they weren't too dear. I think I got maybe 50, and I think they were about £40, and that's something that I will cherish forever. I keep, and everyone that's got one keeps it or has it framed. So yeah, it's a really nice like aspect of something so sad. We also went through speeches and poems. A couple of my family members chose just a bit of a speech. I chose to write a poem and actually get up and read my poem aloud for Luna. it's entirely up to you. There are some beautiful poems on different like websites. Google was my number one help. Anything that I was unsure of during this process, I googled, or I asked my funeral director or my funeral home that I used. And overall, you just speak about your vision for your baby's funeral. I had a certain vision, a certain picture. I wanted it to look very beautiful, like earth tones, natural, meadows, wildflowers. That's the type of picture and image that I had in my head. So I spoke to them about it, and we put in a plan of how I could make that happen. The next thing that the funeral home offered was the transfer and care of your child. So when your baby passes away, they are taken for tests post-mortem, like every other unfortunate bereaved person. So when they have finished with the investigation, they then put into place, and you have to work with your funeral home and the hospital, and they work to transfer them over into their care. I never got to visit Luna while she was away, so this, when she actually got to the funeral home, this was the first time that I actually got to be like reunited with her. When Luna got transferred over, prior to this, we already spoke about this, but when she did get transferred over, they kept her in a chapel of rest, a room of rest, and I got to visit her days leading up to her funeral. So yeah, they just spoke about all about that. Visiting times, they make it very clear you can come and visit them whenever you like, spend as much time as in there as you like, and they're very respectful. They knock before they go into the room. I had a really beautiful experience with that, and I know that they took really good care of her. With that, they also talk about an outfit for burial, which I prepared. I put on Luna's, I think it was her big girl pyjamas, and they also have an add-on which I think I paid maybe £20, and they're little wooden hearts which can be added onto the little basket or the coffin, and you can write messages. So I paid for that extra, and yeah, I think it was about £15 to £20, and we all got to write a message, and I got to attach it onto her coffin, her basket. Next thing we spoke about was the vehicle service and staff. With babies, you are entitled to, well, I was entitled to, most funeral homes, you are entitled to a free hearse for your baby's coffin, and then a free family hearse for the family and close relatives to go in. I took the hearse for my immediate family. However, I really wanted Luna to have a princess carriage, so that's what she had. Now that's not covered by anything. I had to cover that, and that, I think that came to roughly about £1,200, £1,500 roughly. But it was beautiful. Me and her dad got to be inside the carriage leading up to where we was going to lay her to rest, and I've got many clips, and it's something that I will cherish forever, that she was a princess and she went out in true princess style. But the hearses, they do decorate beautifully, and obviously you add on your own flowers, etc., which I'll come to later. So it was lovely that they even considered a free ride for a free ride. I don't mean it like that, but yeah, a free vehicle service for my family to get there was something that I really appreciated. And then I chose to have a princess carriage for Luna, and she had white horses to pull her along. The last thing that we had to choose was her coffin. Now, yet again, because she was a baby, she was entitled to a free, I think it was a white little baby coffin, a baby blue baby coffin, and a white baby coffin, and it's just wooden, and it had like a little plaque with a butterfly or a heart or whatever you wanted. It was beautiful, and they would be given for free, and it was so lovely. I chose differently. I chose to have a white wicker basket, and that was just because, like I spoke about my vision before, I just had a vision of flowers woven into her basket, and the love tags hanging off with our messages on, and that's something that I wanted to do and prepare in the morning with the florist. I wanted to prepare my baby. I was never going to prepare her to get married. I was never going to prepare her for her first day of school, so I wanted to prepare her. So yeah, I went maybe 3 hours earlier and sat and prepared the basket, and it was beautiful. I couldn't have wanted for anything more. It was exactly what I envisioned. So yeah, that was the basket. Now, yeah, again, we did have to pay. So I ended up paying, I think it came to about £650, which yet again, there is a cheaper alternative, a free option. However, I just wanted to do things the way that I wanted to do it, and I just didn't want to regret anything, and I just had this dream, I just had this vision that I really wanted to stick by, and that's okay. I was very precise about the way that I planned it. I wanted it to be very small and intimate, and it was. Yeah, the last thing that I could have done for her, and hopefully I did her proud. A last couple of things that I would just like to speak about is flowers. I found a private florist yet again through one of my friends, who unfortunately had to use the same florist, but she was a very well-known florist in my area, and she was lovely. She was so patient because I kept changing my mind with colours and what types of roses, but she invited me to her house. She did explain to me that this was going to be tough for her as well. This was her first baby that she was ever having to make flowers for. So yeah, it was a real experience, and I'm so glad that she was there by my side, because she was a massive help. And I was getting frustrated at some points because I couldn't put the flowers on the basket, but she really helped me and calmed me down. I chose maybe 6 or 7 different displays of flowers. So I had a Peppa Pig, a moon, different things like that, and then a couple of my friends got some bouquets, and they all went on the carriage with her, and then after they were laid where we put her to rest. They were not cheap, but the florist allowed me to pay in instalments, so I was able to pay I believe I think I paid 3 instalments, and I think that the flowers came under, I think it was about £500, £450 to £500. So that was flowers, but you can get cheaper alternatives. You can make your own. That was something that I was looking into as well. But because I'm such a stress head and a fussy pot, I just knew that I'd be better off finding someone to help me create my vision, or what I pictured of what I wanted for my bubs. There are other extras, things that I just didn't really want, but there are beautiful options for other people, so like letting off doves, balloons, etc. But I just decided to have her ceremony, and then I went back to my family home and we had a small wake, which was really difficult, but I couldn't have been surrounded with more comforting people. They were honestly just amazing on that day, and thank you so much for everyone that helped on that day, because I actually wouldn't have been able to do it without you all. So yeah, that's kind of all the things that I wanted to speak on regarding planning your baby's funeral. I'm so sorry if I've jumbled my words and I've kind of been all over the place. It's been a tough one to record, and I have really put this off. But I'm glad I've done this video. And thank you so much for tuning in again to Luna's Life Safaa Story, and I hope to see you all again soon. with another video or another vlog. Don't know which one yet, so stay tuned. And yeah, please like, please comment, please subscribe, and take care everyone. See ya.